In many of my videos on walking bass lines, I talk about different concepts and techniques for creating walking bass lines. I often find myself explaining the techniques during the lesson, spending lots of time that could be much better spent looking at specific bass line examples. In this video, I'm going to briefly discuss all of the walking bass techniques that you really should know about. So let's get started. Chord tones are the notes that simply make up a chord. Usually these notes are the root, which is the bottom of the chord, the third, the fifth, and the seventh. For example, if we take a B-flat major 7 chord, the B-flat note is the root, the D is the major third, F is the perfect fifth, and A is the major 7th. If we take, for example, C-sharp minor 7 flat 5, C-sharp is the root note, E is the minor third, G is the flat fifth, and B is the minor 7th. Next are scales and modes. Every chord has its own designated scale or mode that you can play over it. Generally, these will be major modes, such as Dorian and Mixolydian. Sometimes, what's known as altered modes can be played over dominant 7th chords, such as C7 and G7. Transitioning from one chord to the next is very important for walking bass lines. There are a few ways to do this. The first is by tone movement, either a tone above or a tone below the target note. The second is semitone movement, a semitone above or below the target note. And the final technique is root-to-root movement, either a perfect fifth above the target note or a perfect fourth below the target note. Sometimes you can substitute one chord for another that is very similar in sound or in function. The most common substitutions are the tritone substitution, for example playing notes from a B7 chord over an F7 chord, the 3-for-1 substitution, for example playing a D minor 7 chord over a B-flat major 7 chord. Chromatics are notes that are not a part of the scale that you are using. Using chromatics is a great way to create smooth connections in your bass lines. Extended range is simply that. We're taking our bass line and we're playing it over more of the neck. These are small rhythmic ideas that can be added into an already strong walking bass line to give it more punch and forward motion. The most common embellishments are either eighth notes or triplets. These are notes that are purely percussive in sound that have no specific pitch. Percussive notes are usually played as eighth notes, and like rhythmic embellishments, can be used to create forward motion in your bass lines. That concludes this overview. Use this video in conjunction with other walking bass line lessons on this channel. Have fun with this information and take care.